No, I haven't caught the last
Sorry,
one.
people.
There's awesome!
However, I caught the new Rick and Morty and it was delightful.
I haven't watched that yet. I haven't watched that yet. Don't you dare.
Hi, welcome to Adventurous Wanted. As you can see, it's a relaxed performance. Live performances are relaxed performances. That means the lights will stay like this. There is a chance that the room lights will switch off. I will switch them back on within 6 seconds. But we will still have lights on, so it will never go touching down. There's a right back to movement.
No, I want to put it not for you.
Some noises, that is something coming off my laptop, which I will switch off in a sec. And maybe neither of you two look like you're hearing new headsets. If you do, you can just ask me. My name's Chloe. I'll be in the corner if you need anything. But for now, I'll pass over to Alex, who is our games master for this hour.
Hello! Hello everybody, hello stream. Welcome, this is Adventurers Wanted. What does that mean? Well, for anyone new, this is a tabletop role-playing game. That means that each person here is playing their own unique character, and I, as the games master, will play the rest of the world. I describe places, people, things that they encounter. I will tell them things that happen, and they will tell me things that they'd like to do. Sometimes we'll use dice rolls to determine what happens, whether they succeed magnificently or fail dismally. All of our players are playing crew members aboard a naval research, go on then, a naval research vessel known as the Spirit of the Horizon, which on a recent mission was unexpectedly and magically teleported to a completely new and unknown world. Now the crew have to figure out how to get home, whether that's by fighting monsters, exploring islands, finding allies, or by some other means. Most recently, they found themselves sent on a mission by a new ally, a queen, whose life they'd saved in a daring rescue mission. She has sent them to a new land, known as Rostal, where an ancient war is being fought between two species, the Komodo, a species of small, lizard-like creature, and the Katafu, taller, broader, thick-skinned, long, dark hair. They've been fighting over this battlefield for unknown amounts of time. Our players made friends initially with the Katafu and went off to explore their city. Before one of the members of the party, a tall young Katafu by the name of Rom, suggested that they go on a jinx, a jape, a visit to a party in the other city, on the other side of the battlefield. They are disguised as Komodo, and they made their way in and discovered a party, a religious feast in full flow, dedicated in honor to the dragon god Mahakirian, who is the racial deity of the Komodo. The team who were there engaged in some hijinks and set off basically a smoke bomb and had a pretend fight about being jilted and just generally caused a massive commotion in the scene. And as they were doing so, they felt themselves yanked out of the party by their allies and dragged off into the forests. That is where we're going to pick up. Before we do so, I'm just going to quickly go round the table and ask our players to introduce themselves, the name of their character, what type of character they are, and also something about them that is memorable or would make everyone else on the table know exactly who they are. I'm going to start over here on the left.
Hi, my name's Reese, and I'll be playing Galbert Twinkletoes, the halfling monk. Was once a cleaner, has been recently promoted to quartermaster, and is always there to lend a helping hand.
Hey, I'm Chaz, and I'll be playing Captain Golan Height, who is the captain of the Spirit of the Horizon, violent alcoholic and awkward stepdad to all, recent adoptive parent of a small griffin called Chansey, and is currently in the middle of doing some soul searching because he thinks his rage might be taking control of his mind.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm playing Dwarven Cleric Ulmorn Bloodgrip. Sounds a lot like Sean Bean, still alive. Everyone's surprised. He's a Dwarven Cleric of the Light. He likes to tell people about the light frequently, all the time, because it's important, everyone should know. And heal everyone up when they come home with wounds.
Wonderful, thank you. We are going to pick up our scene on board the ship. Recently,
No.
recently, the captain found himself, via magical means, teleported into the landing party, briefly. However, at the end of an hour of being there, he found himself ripped back, and he pings back into his cabin on board the ship. The ship is moored, or at least anchored, off the coast of this land, and night has fallen. It's maybe 8, 9 p.m. in the evening,
Sure.
and the sun is very much down. What are our characters doing on board their ship at this point in time?
Well, I would use my time of the evening, the most important time of the day, when the light goes, and I must keep it within me till the next morning. At least that's what my religion tells me. So I'm trying to commune with my God to understand more about this world and what's going on in it. There was a comment from Brother Jürgen a couple of days ago where he asked me, as a fellow cleric, whether I'd been communing with my God, and I realised that I hadn't, because I just got on with my day, you know. Kept providing the spells, kept bringing the light, and the light was there, so I didn't ask any questions. But the brother's not been able to commune with his God, and if anything has found that there's a new voice in his head. And I've been holding off this, I'm a bit nervous about it, but I feel like for some reason or another, I feel like there's a childish energy to me today. So I thought I would take the opportunity to try and commune and cast divination to speak to the Lord of Light and see what comes out.
So what do you do in order to? How do you prepare yourself for your prayer?
Well,
and
ironically, I
spell?
start by lighting up the room as much as I possibly can. Like with,
Incredibly effectively.
way, mostly candles and stuff like that, but also my old standard light spell that I can cast whenever I want. So the room is lit up like a beacon. I light some incense. It's not like particularly fragrant. It more just smoky. Like makes the room a bit more like hazy, like a U2 gig. And bloodstream. At which point I don't, sit cross-legged or any particular way. I just literally just stand in the middle of the room and just hold my hands up and put my spirit out into the world and ask my Lord what I should be doing, how things are going. And because I am a dwarven cleric, then my communion is normally, "Hey up, Lord, how's it? Been a while. This world's pretty strange. What you got?"
You wait,
Mhm.
and there is time and space,
Mhm.
and then rumbling in the back of your head,
Mhm.
in a slightly different tone to what you've heard or experienced before when you've communed
Mhm.
or spoken with your God. You hear the sound and it sounds like someone basically saying,
Lord, is that you? It's me, Olmon.
"This is a new voice."
That makes two of us. That's a new voice for me too. Who are you?
"Who am I?" "You question Oizo,
Oh.
All-Father, Lord of Light, Giver of Sun, Giver of Food. Surely I should ask, who are you?"
Oh, hello, I'm Olmon. I mentally start shake hands.
He feels your presence. and you can feel it's almost like you're being scanned.
Scanned?
Scanned.
Scanned.
He is testing you. He is sensing whether there is any weakness or strength, and you feel.
I totally accept it. There's an element of that. This is how I commune with my lord as well. Just normally it's more stentorian and like you will go and do this, whereas this is much more like warm. Like it's a bit different. Like I'm used to the Lord of Light going like, no, do things, and okay, this guy's a bit different. So there's an element of
This guy is a different son.
different son, different son.
Yeah, he's testing you. He's probing you, and you sense at the end of it, your body grows warmer as this is happening, and you reach a point where you start to feel perhaps uncomfortably warm, even for a cleric of the light.
Right.
And then it eases off, and you roll me an insight check,
Sure.
or a religion check, whichever is better.
They're both +4 for me. Yeah, they're both +4 for me.
Cool.
Religion's the skill one. 22.
Wonderful. Yeah, you get the sense that this was perhaps a check and a test, and that you have passed this test.
Oh, that's nice.
And you hear the voice in your head say, Owazo always wishes to find new followers, especially ones who seem so devout.
Aye.
As long as you continue to work your ways in my favor, spreading the light, speaking of the sun, I shall continue to grant you favors, Ulmorn.
That seems like an entirely fair deal. Just because you're here, because I can ask you questions and it's nice to say hello. What happened to the other guy? Didn't even have a name, was just Lord of Light. That's all I knew him as. Is he around with you? Is he like in another bit of heaven or whatever?
Silence. I am the Lord of Light. I am the aspect of the Lord of Light, given form in this plane.
Oh, right, so you're all Lords of Light. That makes sense. Right on. I'll catch you later. If there's anything you want me to do in particular, just knock, you know.
Spread the light.
Oh, I do that. You know I do that. All right. All right, mate. Peace out. That's the end of it.
Wonderful.
Meanwhile, will somebody open this door?
Surprisingly taciturn.
How long have you been trying to open the door?
How long does arcane lock last?
Until Brina dispels the spell.
Then I've been taking this entire time, banging on the door. Anybody? There must be one more mate on this ship.
At that moment, you hear and feel the arcane energy dip. The door opens, and you see Brina, and she's out of breath. She's panting, and she's like, "Captain, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot that it lasted until I dispelled it. It's very silly of me."
Listen, this is very important.
No,
There
this
is,
is- oh, yes, no, you go
there is a
first.
tablet on this island. There's a tablet piece on this island. We need to get the tablet piece.
Yes, so after you left us, we went on a small sortie we were going to a party, but
Right.
with the other people, and
Right.
it was quite confusing. Anyway, we travelled through some tunnels, and well, as we were going through the tunnel, I spotted some stonework, and you're going to think this is crazy.
Right.
In fact, I think I might be crazy myself, but the carvings on the stone were, I feel like I've seen them before. Back at home.
Wait, what?
You remember the island? Where we found the tablet?
Yes.
Well, they weren't identical, but they were very similar. It was just a wall. I couldn't really tell how big it was or where anything led beyond, but if there's a tablet piece here, I feel like this might be connected in some way.
Yes, I think so too. I don't suppose you got any of this down, did you? Did you copy any of the carvings?
We were dragged along to the party, and what I did do is and she opens up a small pouch that she had and looks inside it, and there's like a small chunk of the rock, and she says, I took this. I thought maybe Philip could use it.
He is the geologist. All right, send it to Philip.
Understood. And she scuttles off to go and try and find the elf wizard who is the geologist, Philip. Galbert, where have you been? What have you been doing?
Well, after being teleported back, looking like a Komodo,
Yeah, that happened.
I look across the deck of the ship and see that it's filthy. Because a certain stowaway, who I gave the role of cleaner, is not very good at her job. So I pick up a mop, and I clean, and then I go back to my quarters and find her in my bed again, and I go to my hammock, and I toss, and I turn, and I occasionally just glance down until I fall asleep.
There's a lot of sassy crew members at the moment. If you could make them all cleaners, that'd be great. I'm talking Dench, I'm talking Phoenix.
As you are sat, as you lay in your bed, as Brina walks away from you, and as you finish communing with your god, you feel the golden
It's happening.
glow
Chance!
and the sort of strange metallic tang that enters your mouth, and you are no longer on board the ship.
I'm starting to enjoy this.
You find yourselves on the edge of a forest in the dark. Around you and behind you are flares and torches that have been put out. And behind them stands a large villa, overgrown with vines and flowering, climbing plants. Galbert, you recognise this. You entered into this villa not that long ago. You find yourself now on the outside, and as you appear back, you get the sensation that your legs were moving, or rather, the legs of the people who you are replacing were moving quite quickly away from it. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. Galbert, in your hand, you look down, and before where there was nothing, you find a small map, a roll of parchment. Otherwise, everything is identical. Behind you, you hear commotion and the sounds of people following you. Roll me perception checks, please.
Mm-hmm.
Critical failure,
11.
halfling luck.
18.
Better.
Actually, no, mine's gone up, sorry. Yeah, it's
15.
7 now, 13.
All of you are pretty much certain that you have, or rather your compatriots have, drawn attention to themselves, but not necessarily started a fight. There are people coming out of the front of the house in pairs and groups, but it's more because there was some ruckus, and not because they're about to come out and rush out into the forest to attack you.
Okay.
There is no sign of anyone else around you. And as you are stood there, you hear, off in the forest in front of you, a high-pitched scream.
Oh no.
Right, someone needs our help.
That
Come on,
doesn't
lads.
sound good.
And I just start
Onwards.
going.
Oh, for God's sake.
You make
You
your way.
take 5 days off and suddenly no one wants to listen to you.
Follow the light, sorry.
You make your way down the pathway between the trees and around the homesteads and houses that are built around the trees and into the trees in this forest. And behind one of them, on the very edge of the homestead, away from the battlefield, heading further deeper into the forest, you see a small flickering torch and you see stood next to it, holding it, a short Komodo woman. She is in her middle age, and she is stood there, torch in one hand, like a short dagger in the other hand, and she's sort of waving them both around in front of her. On the floor behind her is another Komodo, an older gentleman. He is the one who is emitting the high-pitched scream.
Right.
And in front of both of them, you see a giant monkey beast.
Right.
Oh no.
I was
would you
really
like to
hoping
do?
I'd be able to be out for more than
Do
5 minutes without hitting
I-
something.
Can I cast a spell? Have I got enough time?
Yeah, it's probably about 50 feet away at the moment. You've entered into a small glade.
Can I get a javelin off?
What's the range on your javelin?
That's a good question.
It's 30, 90, I believe. Or
So
31,
you could,
20.
but it would be at disadvantage.
Ah, give it a punt.
Roll a disadvantage then.
I will roll it. You know what? I will roll a disadvantage. But not because you told me to. All right, it's starting strong. Let's see, I'm so bad at maths, guys. I'm so sorry.
That would be a 14.
14. Okay, good. Yep, 14.
14. The javelin hits, sticking into the side of its thigh, and it stood there and it's sort of beating on its chest, screaming and roaring, and very much making a big meal of it, like making itself known in this environment.
I cast a
Roll
spiritual
damage.
Just roll damage. Does this count as humanoid?
No, it's a
No.
beast.
It's beast. Okay, just checking. Always good to check these things. That was 1d6, sorry, not 2. That's a natural mole thing I just did there. That's 4, my friend.
4 damage.
Oh no, it's 4 plus 4, so 8.
8 damage.
And then after that, I'm going to be like, to do that thing you used to do when you see like a fox in your garden. Hey, get out of here! Get out of here!
I cast my spiritual weapon to place it between the giant monkey thing and the lad on the floor. And
What about the woman? The woman is currently stood. The female Komodo with the torch and the dagger is currently stood between.
between her and the monkey
Okay,
thing. Sorry.
yeah.
And feeling rather inspired by this evening's commune, make it look like a giant glowing orb of pure sunlight, like a sun on earth. Bless you.
Nice. Nice.
May the light bless you.
Can the person with 18 dex go, please?
I was going to say, at that point, we officially enter into combat.
There's no reaction for the monkey, but I'm like, hey, get out of here!
He spots you.
Yeah.
He is very aware you threw something at him. It nearly hurt him, but not really.
So
He knows you're there. His reaction is he turns
I'm sorry.
and he lets out a bellowing roar. And he goes looking like he's about to charge towards you.
That's not a
At that
good
point, we enter
noise.
combat.
Does Chauncey do anything?
I'm just going to be like, Chauncey, trees!
Do you want to fly up to the trees, Bear?
What's your dex score? 14.
Yeah.
What's your dex score, Ormond? Oh, it's like 11, isn't it?
10.
10, yeah. And yours is 18.
18.
Okay, Galbert, these two having gone first, you get to go first.
Thank you.
That's not a sentence.
Welcome to D&D.
From what I saw of the creature, did it look like it was attacking, or did it look like it was just making a show to scare people off?
Roll a nature check.
12.
It looked like it was attacking, but you don't know why.
Okay. How far away from me is it?
About 50 feet
Okay.
for now.
It's a good thing I have like 40 foot of movement as a halfling. I up to the creature.
You're about 10 foot away from it.
I expend a key point to dash,
Okay.
and I hit with my mop. I expend 2 key points to make it a stunning strike, and I want to specify this is non-lethal damage.
Okay. Roll attack.
Monks, man.
That would be a 20 to hit, and he needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Look at this face.
Natural 20.
Oh, it is another
He
one.
breaks your mop.
Oh, it's a special plus
It's
one mop.
a magic mop.
It's lost its head.
Oh.
It's now a stick.
It's now a stick. That's fine. I have plenty of mop heads back on the ship.
Galbert would like to rage.
This thing is huge. It's like, now you're right up close to it. You can see like some of the muscles in its arms and thighs are the size of you, and you have hit it with, admittedly, a +1 magical mop, but nevertheless, what is effectively a stick about this thick.
Okay, and that was 8 bludgeoning damage. No, sorry, 11 bludgeoning damage. I have +5.
Yep. It takes them.
My second attack.
Bloody monks.
That's 19 to hit,
Hits.
and that's maximum damage. 13 bludgeoning.
13 bludgeoning.
From a kick, a punch.
Kicked it right in its giblets.
The first one, the mop comes down and the like, oh,
Be careful,
just like a straight poke into the sternum.
Okay, it hits the sternum. The mop bends ever so slightly, bounces back out. It looks angry.
Be careful, he's in a breaking mood.
It doesn't look particularly hurt.
Oh no.
Next up, we have Golan.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
mine's again, I would like to try my free action to be like, hey, get out of here. Go on, get.
He's taking damage from two. He ignores you. He's just been attacked.
Right.
You threw a thing at him first, and he stamps his feet, stomps around, and roars once again. This time into the face of the halfling that's right in front of him.
I said, get out of here. And I'd like to take my, again, not raging yet, but I'd like to take my maul and just bring it down on his foot as if to say, get out of here. No. Get out of here.
Roll an attack.
Plus 16.
That hits.
Yes, I can re-roll the 1. Oh, excellent. That is 14 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, get out of here.
Yeah, you poke it. Looks like you broke one of its toes.
I really don't want to kill anything.
But yeah, it remains pretty much unimpressed with your attempt to intimidate it gently.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I've still got a bonus action, right?
Yes.
Excellent. In that case, all right, you want to play hardball? Let's go hardball. And I would like to rage.
Wonderful. And you once again, for like the 6th time in about 24 hours, you feel the power of the rage course through your veins.
I just tweeted about how you were being a bit calmer.
It is convenient that you did that. You having dealt the most recent damage.
It's going to attack me
It spots
first.
you, and it makes 2 attacks with both of its huge fists, bringing them down
Yeah.
in an attempt to basically pulverize you into the earth.
So the rage is like, let's do this and more. Oh, here we go.
It rolls a 17 and an 18.
Both of those
which
hit.
is a 26 and a 27.
Both of those will hit as well.
And it deals... Oh, I'm going to need more dice.
Oh, God.
Oh no.
That's not a good, not a great noise.
Oh, no, I put them over... and that one there.
Too many dice.
It does 14 bludgeoning damage with the first hit.
And your lights go out.
Is that 14 halved, or did you halve it already?
I haven't halved it yet. And 20 with the other. So it does 7 and 10.
7 and 10.
17 bludgeoning damage with its 2 fists at half damage.
Oof, that is a lot.
Well, we
I
are
can
seventh-
take it. I can take it.
We are 7th level.
It's not happy. Ormorn.
Does Chauncey do anything? He can roll.
I don't want Chance to get hurt.
Fair.
Especially with a creature that does 27 damage, and that was halved.
You make a very compelling point. Can I make either a nature check or an insight check to see if the person that got knocked aside is in any threat from this creature moment? Is he focused entirely on the captain, or do I need to prioritise the man who's down, basically?
No, you do not need to
I need to
prioritise
make a
the
check
man.
for that. It's fine.
No, you can see now quite clearly that the beast has very much got its eyes locked on the people that are attacking it.
Okay.
The man on the floor still lying there, like gibbering in fear.
Okay. Is he hurt?
No,
Oh, he's just
he's just scared.
Okay.
The female Komodo is actually
Hang on, the man on the floor, is it a Komodo?
yes.
They're both Komodo.
Yes,
Thank you.
the male. At this point, before your go, actually, the female with the knife dashes forward and goes to stab it in the side of its flank.
Okay.
But unfortunately, she misses. However, she has joined the fray.
I see. Does she look particularly stronger or weaker than us? Should I be worried about her?
She doesn't look like fighting is her
Thang?
main thing.
Sure.
But she is incredibly brave and not willing to go down without a fight to the bitter end.
So this rather large creature has these two, those three in front of it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, these two to the front of it, and then the other one, the female Komodo, is sort of flanking it to the side.
I see. Can I place... Here. I'm just going to say what I want to do, and you tell me if I need to move it around a bit. Is that okay?
Okay.
I stand looking at all of this. I move within 30 feet of it.
Yep.
I've got 25 feet of movement, so I can probably do
Yep,
that.
no
That's
problem.
fine. I make sure I'm at the back goal because I'm more used to tossing out the heels. And I then look up to the sky, raise my warhammer, and say, "All right then, Lord Oazo, right down, Oazo. Let's see what you've got." And I cast Guardian of Faith. I make a large spectral guardian appear and hover for the duration in an occupied space of my choice I can see within range.
Mm-hmm.
The guardian occupies that space, is indistinct except for a gleaming sword and shield emblazoned with the symbol of your deity. I'd like to flavour that if possible, to try and tell Oazo himself to come and see what's going on.
Wow.
A representation of this lad. And any creature hostile to you that moves to a space within 10 feet of it takes 20 points of damage on a failed dex.
How close to the creature itself do you place this?
Behind the Komodo, between her and the one on the floor, so hopefully within 10 feet.
Within 10 feet of it? Yeah, basically, yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You see a shaft. I mean, it's dark. It's nighttime. But you see this
Never that dark
this
mirror.
very thin beam shaft of pure golden sunlight
Yeah.
streams out of the sky,
Yeah.
hits the ground, and disappears and leaves behind a tiny little golden bauble, a little bead of golden light. As you look at it, it expands,
Yeah.
grows, and there, stood before you, is this giant spectral guardian carrying a large sword and a shield. He is... 1 second, hold caller. He stands there, and on his front of his breastplate is this large golden circle, and from that out radiates feathers of multicolour. His whole being, apart from like the skin, is just colour and brightness and light, and so the skin and the face and the eyes and the hair are all radiant golden sunlight. But the clothing that he wears is all of the other colours in the brightest, most over-the-top, ostentatious display of colour that you have ever seen. And he stands there. He appears somewhat bird-like. Not as much as any of the bird-like creatures that you have met, but there is a slight feathery nature to the.
Well, that's a bit different. Cool. And the also use the spiritual weapon to go in and whack it.
and you smack it with a... That's not a concentration spell, is it?
Nope.
Good.
Neither of these, amazingly, are concentration spells.
Clerics!
Hilarious, man.
You smack it with a spiritual weapon. Roll damage.
It's a +7 to hit, so that is a 14.
Hits.
That's 8 points of force damage. The floating sun comes flying in and just twats it in the face.
Nice.
Twats it in the face.
Ormorn continuing to be the eloquent one in the party. That brings us back to the top of the round. It is Galbert's turn.
Oh.
And
Oh,
Chance's
my.
obviously buzzing around me head and I'm trying to deal with them at the same time.
First attack
Yep.
with the now broken mop. That's a 22 to hit.
Hits.
That's 11 bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
Second attack,
I didn't roll my second attack last time.
that's 12 to hit.
Hits.
I'm going to expend 2 key points to make this a stunning strike.
Mm-hmm.
How many key points have you got?
I'm now
700
down
apparently.
to 2.
Ah.
And that was 8 bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
Apply.
And I have to make a Constitution saving
Yes,
throw.
please.
Probably got quite a high constitution.
Yeah,
to
but
join in.
it's a new ability.
22?
Yeah, no, that'll pass. All right.
Save it for the others.
I expend another key point and
for
do a
God's
flurry of
sake.
blows.
So you've now got 1 key point left.
You've hit it twice. You're going to have another crack at it.
I now have 2 more attacks.
Wonderful.
This is with a kick. I'm going to attempt to knock it prone, so my leg is going to try and sweep his. In the eternal words of that movie, sweep the leg.
I've not seen Sweep the Leg.
23 to hit.
Hits.
And I need a dexterity saving throw from you.
19.
That'll pass.
Why can't you roll badly like the other GMs?
That's...
I save it for when I'm a player.
That's 8 bludgeoning damage again.
Yep.
And my next attack, I'm going to try and do it again. I'm going to come to the other side with my fist. That's 15 to hit.
Hits.
I need another dexterity saving throw from you.
12.
Fails. It's prone. And that is 8 bludgeoning damage again.
It falls to the ground as you
Oh.
sweep its leg. Somehow. And yeah, it's pretty angry. It's looking a little beat up now,
Shocker.
but not worryingly so.
Go on, get!
Golan.
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape!
So predictable.
Hands are nowhere near you.
All these attacks
Well,
have
well,
advantage.
I assume it just hit me with both of them.
Oh yeah, it did.
So it's prone, so I get advantage on
You
this?
do indeed.
In that case, I'm going to hit it twice with my maul.
Cool.
So let's see what we can do.
It likes your maul.
Yes.
Somewhat like that.
Oh, I'm glad that was advantage. That was a crit fail. Ooh. Eesh. That's better. That's
22.
22.
It hits.
Cool. And then I'll just do the second one. Oof, that's a 4. Not good today. And that's a 18.
Both hit.
Excellent.
Roll damage.
Roll damage. And I'm raging now, so this is +6 on the damage.
Yep.
Yes. Good.
Is this a humanoid?
Oh, that's a good start. So that's 16 damage on the first hit. And that's a 2. I can re-roll that. And that's another 16 damage on the second hit.
It
32 damage.
screams in pain as the DM does some math.
And after I hit it, I'm just going to
Yeah.
point my maul in it and just like, I told you to leave.
Yeah. It looks bloodied and bleeding, and roll an intimidation check for me.
Come on, baby. The captain doesn't really want to kill anything again. 10.
It looks up at you through bloodshot eyes, and you sense that it is definitely significantly more scared of you than it was.
Makes sense.
At that point, the Komodo woman jumps forward with her short sword, and she stabs it. Thank you very much. And hits.
Ooh.
And does too many pieces of paper. 2 piercing damage, but you know.
Every little helps.
Yeah.
Is it now the ape's turn?
It's now the ape's turn.
Dex saving throw.
To.
Not take 20 points of radiant damage.
Oh yeah. It's prone, so it gets super disadvantage. However, it rolls a 16.
It's a 15, mother.
It stands up.
Oh no.
And it looks around it, it assesses the situation, and it attempts to flee back into the forest behind it.
Yeah, you'd better run.
Doing so will provoke an attack of opportunity from the Komodo woman,
You don't have to take it.
but she misses. And leaving a small bloodied trail behind it, it bashes along, and you see it disappear into the trees, and a few moments later you hear the sound of like crashing through the trees, and you get the sense that it has moved from the ground, and it has now made its way back up into the trees and is crashing through the trees.
Should we,
At that point, we come to the end of the combat.
I drop my rage.
I try and find my mop head.
Roll me a perception check. Does anyone have any light with them?
Always.
9.
I light up my Warhammer web.
Chauncey has dark vision.
Chancey's also going to go and relieve herself against a tree.
Can Chauncey make a perception check
Lights
to
up
find
the
them
hammer,
up
as
and
always.
potentially bring it to Galbert?
Yeah.
Ironically, didn't seem to work that time.
Come on, Chauncey. Oh, don't roll a 7, Chauncey.
Chauncey swoops down from the tree nearby where she's been perched, and she picks up a small woodland creature and brings it to you.
Thank you, Chauncey. What a lovely gift.
It's still partly alive, but not for long.
You know what, Chauncey? I think you should have this.
She snatches it from your hand into her beak and like throws it up in the air. Hum!
Oh, good girl, Chauncey. Good girl.
The Komodo woman who you rushed in turns to you, and finally she spots you. She's, like, up to this point, she's been dealing with the beast, and she looks at you, and she stares. She has not seen anyone who looks like you before, and she says, "Who are you? Where did you come from?"
Now, isn't that a long story, isn't it, Galbert?
Oh, it's incredibly long, Captain.
I mean, I would love to go into the details, but I appear to be bleeding profusely.
Are you with them? Are you
With who?
Are you spies?
No.
Did the
not at all.
Catafu send you?
No, we just turned up, didn't we?
What's a catafu?
Roll deception or persuasion, whichever one it is.
It's deception. I know exactly what a catafu is. That's actually not awful. It's a 14.
She looks at you confused and says, "The Catafu are our sworn enemy.
Oh, you have a sworn enemy. That's awful.
Yes. No, that's right. That's bad.
Thank you so much for..." And you can see that she's sort of quite centered and self-confident. And she says, "Thank you so much for for your support. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I could have got rid of it myself.
Oh no!
Of course.
No, of course, yes. No.
You seem pretty handy
Yes,
with
yeah,
that
good,
thing.
Yeah. You did the you did the brunt of the damage, I think, in that one. I think it's.
She turns behind her to the cowering Komodo, and as you look, roll me a perception check.
17.
16.
Yeah, you can see that he's probably in the equivalent of sort of 40s to 50s. He's a slightly older man, older Komodo man.
Can I look him over and medicine check him, and if he needs healing up, heal him up and help him to his feet and that sort of thing?
Absolutely.
Don't worry, I'll just stand here with my wounds.
He doesn't require any healing whatsoever. The only thing that has hurt is his pride.
I can't heal that. No spells
And
for that, I'm afraid.
as you help him to his feet, there is a slightly metallic-y, tangy scent. And as you look down, you see that the bottom part of his clothing is not necessarily as dry as it once was.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
And he's very, very embarrassed, and he can't really bring himself to look anyone in the eye. He certainly can't bring himself to look in the eye of his female Komodo friend. She turns.
I've got nothing to dry thing.
She turns to him and kind of dismissively says, Well, Gladden, I think that might be the end of this evening's adventure. Perhaps.
Okay.
We all three of us do it at the same time, out loud.
Perhaps you ought to. And at this point, she clocks you behind her, and she drops her voice and mutters something. Roll me a perception check.
Please roll high.
That's a
Yes.
26.
23.
17.
I am so leaning in. Not even like.
All three of us. all three of us with Chauncey on my head.
All of you hear her say, perhaps you ought to go home to your family.
Oh. I still don't get it.
And
I'll explain back at the ship.
yeah,
Okay.
at that point, he sort of scuffles together all of his stuff and anything he dropped and grabs at a satchel and yeah, he just beats a hasty retreat out of there, not looking back, not looking any of you in the eye, just disappearing off into the darkness, back towards the main house and the main conurbation.
I remember my first dance. Do you? Oh.
No.
You were stood there
It's a long time
with
ago.
this woman, this 40-year-old perhaps, Komodo woman, and she says, "Well, I suppose some introductions are in order. The name's Vise.
Hello,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
on.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Is my guardian still there?
Yeah,
And that's Suazo, apparently.
I recognize the symbols. We do not see them often on this land."
Well, now you do. You're right, pal. Thanks very much. High five him, and he goes away.
Doesn't understand a high five. And
Oh, that's
as
like
you reach out, he puts his hand out, and
Oh, it's a cabbage.
we cabbage.
Hello there, Captain Golan Height, Captain of the Spirit of the Horizon. This is my quartermaster, Galbert Twinkletoe.
Pleasure to meet you.
Are you the captain of the ship that's moored off the island?
Oh, yes. Unless there's any other ships.
I mean, there could be more than.
there could be more than one.
Aye.
I mean, last time I checked, we're the only one.
Our scouts and watch people had sent word of a strange boat that appeared off the coast. We don't know what to make of it. You're
Well,
part of it?
if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because
Go
I
for
have
it.
I have been on a brief sabbatical.
Oh, we will.
I believe we're here as part of a diplomatic mission to reopen trade routes. Is that correct?
We are.
Yes.
Here
Also
in
close,
pursuit
didn't
of
pay
peace
attention.
and diplomacy.
That's right. Peace and diplomacy, not hitting things until they don't get up.
We were hired for peace and diplomacy. Which
Yeah.
numbskull did that?
Well, a queen did that. So,
Right.
We weren't really in a position to
I
argue.
don't think a huge amount of her management skills, but you know, who am I?
When she hears that you're here on a mission of peace, her eyes light up, and she says, perhaps you will be the ones to finally bring this damned war to an end.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. There have been some people I'm talking to who really want it to go on, and it's just nice to meet a like-minded person.
Well, I think it's important that you speak to my lord and lady.
Aye.
I can't promise that they'll be as happy with your mission of peace as I am.
Yeah.
But we've seen too many young people die here.
It's
We
all right,
can't
love.
continue like this.
It's all right, love. And I cast guidance on her. She's got a 1d4 advantage on her next ability check, but that's not really why I'm casting it. To say, there is light in you, and there is light in your people and your family. And I'm sure together we will work out that war's not good for an awful lot. You could even say war.
You, as you look into her eyes, you see in sort of right deep in the dark of the back of her pupils, you see this tiny little of light, and it's like a small spark of flame.
Well, in that case, and this is, I'm so glad I get to say this for a second time. Take me to your leader.
I've never heard that phrase before.
I've just come up with it.
It's very good.
Thank you. I came up with it earlier
It
today.
evokes effectively where we want to go and how quickly we'd like to do it.
Yes, I'm surprised no other person has said it.
I would agree with that statement.
As
Somebody
you
write
are-
it down. I don't want to forget it.
As you're having
Aye, aye,
this
Captain.
conversation, she leads you through the forest, and you go back to basically where you found yourselves appear. This time heading in the opposite direction. In front of you stands this large villa, almost like a hacienda, made entirely out of wood, covered in these plants. The torches are still burning. Things have quietened down a little, but there are people heard the screams. They've come to the edges of the building, looking out. There's a sense of concern, but you get the impression that this isn't the first time something strange and powerful has come out of the forest to terrorize the people in the town. Perhaps this is not a regular occurrence, at least a sporadic occurrence.
Aye. So it doesn't look like they have constant problems.
No. Their constant problems, from what you've gleaned in conversation, is quite simply the battle that they are raging with the Catafu.
Oh, I see. Okay.
As you make your way inside, you go through a small atrium, which currently is completely flooded. As you look around, you see small fish just sort of slowly dying on the floor.
I cast control water to form it all back into some kind of some kind of straight body.
You see
Get
in
all
the
the
middle
fish
of the
inside
room
it.
there was a plinth about 5 foot wide by 10 foot long, and the majority of the fish are dying on that. So the water back up, and it becomes this 10 foot long by 5 foot wide by 5 foot high cube of water.
Well, now the
How
fish are all
long
right at least.
does that last?
10 minutes. It's all right. The first thing I'm going to say is, can someone sort this out? In 10 minutes' time, those fish are going to be right bloody ticked off.
Mostly people are just staring at you.
Oh. Hello.
One Komodo does come up and, with a kind of surprised look and a stare, it says, yes, of course, leave it to me. And he goes in, and you see him start to move his hands and utter sort of arcane chants. And you get the impression that he is doing what you've done, but in a kind of more permanent way.
Sure.
Vise leads you through the atrium. I keep dropping my pen, sorry. And back into the main courtyard where the party had occurred before. Galbert, this is all starting to look incredibly familiar to you. You've been backwards and forwards through this atrium many times now.
I've not seen it before. It's right pretty.
You go through the courtyard with this big shallow pool covered in huge water lilies, and beyond is a large room. In the middle of the room, the party is in full swing still. There are fewer people around now than there were when you were here earlier. And in front of you on the wall is the large silver face of the dragon god that they worship.
Can I roll a religion check on it?
You can, yes. Galbert already knows his name.
That is a symbol of Mahakirio, the dragon god.
You say it again.
Mahakirio.
Mahakirio. Mahakirio.
Ma-ha-ki.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Maha. Makaha. No, it's not going in.
No.
Above,
it's not going in.
on the gantry above, which goes around the edges of this room, you see a shortish, stout, kind of fat Komodo man. He's wearing what look like clerical robes, and on his head sits this huge silver mask of the dragon face.
Aye.
Next to him, and in deep conversation with him, stands a taller, slender, muscular Komodo woman, wearing like tapestry robes almost.
Mm-hmm.
She has a smaller symbol of the silver dragon god, and they are deep in conversation. As they see you enter, they turn, and everyone in the room turns to stare at the people who have walked in. And the woman on the balcony looks down and she says, "Who are you? What brings you here?" And that's where we're going to end this hour.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
And minding a baby, sorry.
We are doing this from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day for Fringe. You're more than welcome to come back and see where the adventure goes. You're more than welcome to buy a player ticket, come up, we'll make a character where you can get involved. We're also live streaming the whole thing on twitch.tv/adventurerswanted and live tweeting it at adventurers50. I'm just going to throw someone on the table, well, a couple of people on the table who have some other shows on at the festival.
Put your merch on.
That's right, for the merch on. Okay. I'm in a sketch comedy double act of the Fringe. We're called Dirty White Boys. Our show this year is called Stupid, which is an accurate summation of his content. It is a very fast-paced, turbocharged, Morecambe and Wise style sketch show. We're on every day at Just a Tonic at the Caves on Cowgate at 9:20 at night. It's a pay what you want show, so it means free entry or £5 to guarantee a ticket. Although it is the 2-for-1 day today, so it would technically be £2.50 to guarantee seats for 2 people. Hint, hint. There are some flyers on the chair on the corner if you'd like to grab one.
I saw it for the first time last night, and
Does
I
it
have
also
a,
go for 2-for-1s?
it's fantastic. It's
Chris, do you want to?
Yeah, I'm a freelance theatre PR, so I work on a ton of stuff. Yeah, I'm going to pick one. Which one would you guys like? Oh, that's a tough one. What time are you guys free today? Don't know.
Yeah, I think most of the day.
Sweet.
And we have friends staying with us, so
Perfect.
they're free all the
At Greensides, I have 3 shows. One is very gay-friendly and is called The Waiting Game, and is about gay relationships, modern relationships. One is called Whore, and is about the sexualization of 13-year-olds, but it's actually really not that terrifying. It's about kids dealing with how they get sexualized as kids and how they manage to live through it. And there's another one, same company, called 13 and Not Pregnant, which is an actress reading out her 13-year-old diary, and it's incredible.
Cool. So with that, we've now got a quick turnaround for the next hour. It's just the way you came through, and have a lovely day. Thanks very much for coming.
Thanks, guys.
thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, literally that entire show is... I love Scott. Scott's amazing. He's great.